Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Mary with the Georgia Child Care Association, and I'm here with Eddie Walker from Champion Roofing. He is going to walk through some information that owners and directors need to know about keeping their buildings safe and their roofs maintained and what to do in emergency situations. So Eddie joined us back in the spring as a gold vendor member, and we appreciate his support. We definitely look forward to learning more from Eddie today. I'll turn it over to you, Eddie. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Mary. Once again, my name is Eddie Walker. I am the owner and operator of Champion Roofing. We are located in Flowery Branch, Georgia. We have been in business for a little over 7.5 years. We were very heavily involved in the community, which is the reason why we like to work with a lot of the schools from the high school level all the way down to the public school system with the young ones, from the little babies up. So we like to stay involved with them and kind of help support wherever we can and make sure that the families within the communities, have somebody that they can trust to help keep the roof over their head, dry for them. And so they don't have any health issues or anything like that, and know that we're going to take care of them for the long haul. So what I would like to do today, Mary, if you wouldn't mind, is I've prepared a couple of slides. I know with webinars, it is difficult to try to get a bunch of people on and be able to have those questions and everything's asked. So I wanted to put together a little slide. Some of it may make sense, some of it may not, but I am going to go through a lot of information. And so if anybody does have any questions, even after our webinar, they can feel free to email me directly or give me a call and I'll give all that information out. But I do believe you've already sent it out as well. So we'll make sure they have it plenty of times. But let me see if I can get this thing to share my screen. Technology doesn't like me sometimes. Let's see.
Sometimes that is Zoom, but we're going to think positive thoughts.
Right. Well, actually, it's not even giving me the option to share the screen. Let's see.
Showing on this end.
You can see the screen?
No, it shows that you can share.
Oh, I wonder why it's not letting me.
Do you have that green share screen button at the bottom of your screen?
I do not. I'm on a Mac. Macs may be different. Oh. Let's see. Sorry, I had this thing, thought I had it working. Let's see, more. Share. It'll take up an hour just doing this.
I'll clip this part out.
There we go. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Mm-mm.
There we go.
There we go.
See it?
Yes. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful views. All right.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. Sorry. Get to the beginning. Thought I would rehearse this already, right? I did, but sometimes technology doesn't work.
It's the way it happens. Exactly.
Right. All right. So once again, just want to reintroduce myself. My name is Eddie Walker. I am called the Roof Champ. The main reason why I was given that name was because I am a retired professional Muay Thai champion. Been retired for a very, very long time. So I try to take that same mentality of being a championship fighter and implement it into my business. What the word champion means to me is, discipline, making sure things are done right the first time, being willing to do all the hard work that nobody else is willing to do to be able to make it to that next level. And that has actually helped us become successful in this industry when it comes to helping the community and our fellow co-workers. So the Wild Wild West. when it comes to contractors in general and policies and procedures and regulations in Georgia, it's literally the Wild Wild West. There's a lot of contractors that don't have proper licensing, they don't have proper insurance, they don't have all the credentials that are needed for you to actually trust them and be prepared for them to do a good quality job. Because in the state of Georgia, as a roofing contractor, you don't technically need to have a roofing license. You can wake up one day, go get just a normal business license and slap a name on the side of your truck and then call yourself a roofing contractor. So it's very, very important that whenever you are looking for a roofing contractor, that you vet these contractors very thoroughly and make sure that you get, referrals and recommendations from other people. And even with those recommendations and referrals, still do your due diligence, because you never know when you just have a friend of a friend trying to, get somebody business, but then they kind of wipe their hands with it once they give the referral. So please always make sure you do your own due diligence whenever you're working with any contractor in the state of Georgia. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you a quick little video. In this video, you will see a contractor, and we actually caught this contractor doing this on a residential home across the street from a house that we were actually working on. If you'll see here with the wording, it says he's competing in the National Shingle Flipping Championship. And so in the industry, we call that a contractor pretty much vandalizing your roof so it can have an opportunity to get purchased by your insurance carrier. So this is the reason why you have to be extremely careful on who you hire and who you let on any roof, whether it's your residential home, whether it's your commercial business. Just please be careful. And even if they do get on your roof, just kind of stand outside and look up, kind of let them do their thing, but just kind of keep an eye on them. Because if they know that you're there and they are used to going up there and vandalizing and damaging roofs, more than likely they're not going to do it if you're standing there watching them. But just to kind of give you an idea of what these individuals do, see them right here. Now this gentleman just got on this roof, and you can see him actually pull the tabs off of the roof because they're sealed down, and he's having a little hard time pulling them up. But once he finds one that he can get his hand underneath, he pulls the adhesive strip, he bends the shingle up, and then he wipes it down on the top part to make it look like it has a crease, like wind actually went underneath it and then caused the damage. Now, a couple of the issues with that, right? Let's say there's nothing wrong with your roof at all, and you're running your business and you've got this contractor coming up from a storm, and he goes on your roof and then he begins to do all this damage on your roof, right? Well, now you file an insurance claim. Well, you had a roof that had zero damage on it, and now you've got a roof that has damage on it because this contractor went up there and damaged it. But then the insurance company comes out and says, oh no, there's not enough damage here to, pay for a full replacement, but we will pay for, just these minor repairs. And so instead of you getting a whole new roof from this, you're only going to get repairs. So your roof is actually going to be in worse shape than it was before this gentleman or lady got onto the roof and decided that they were going to do what they were going to do to your roof. And then the real sad part of this is, if the insurance company does come back and they say that they're only going to do a repair and they're not going to do a full replacement, you may never see that contractor again, because the only thing that they want to do is get you to file the claim and then hope that the insurance company is going to approve it so they can make their quick money and then go on to the next one. But if it doesn't get bought, good luck trying to catch them. And then now you've got a damaged roof that you've got to repair. So that's why I say you really got to be careful about who you let on your roofing system. Now, with that being said, at Champion Roofing, we do have a couple core values that we like to go by. And the number one is we will operate with a champion mindset on a day-to-day basis. So what does that mean? That means when we wake up in the morning and we are working with our clients, we want to make sure that we are giving them everything that we need to give them to make them feel whole, make them feel like they can trust us, and give them that discipline of following through with our documentation, that discipline of communicating properly with our clients to make sure that they fully understand everything that's going on throughout the process. And then if we have to do an insurance claim, which can be very tricky if you've never had to file one before, but we make sure that we are there for you 100% of the time with everything that we possibly need to have your back to help you get whole again, if you do decide to file that claim. Our second, right, our clients deserve and will receive a championship experience at all times, right? Everybody loves winners. Everybody loves winning. Nobody likes losing. Losing creates headaches. Losing creates stress. We want to make sure that you are stress-free and as inconvenienced as minimum as possible whenever you are working with us. We're also dedicated to building future champions within the community. What does that actually mean? When we work with school systems, we take a small percentage of that, and then we actually donate that towards some youth sports program or some youth curriculum that a client may say, all right, this youth sports program, they have a hard time getting sponsors. They have a hard time raising money for selling candy or whatever it is. And we'll more than likely donate a percentage of each roof that we do build to that program to kind of help those kids get the supplies and everything that they need to be able to become a champion in the future. Accountability. Do the work that no one else is willing to do. When it comes to working with schools, you have to be very, very detailed in the work that you are doing. A lot of people out there in the construction industry, they like to take shortcuts. They like, especially on a Friday at 5 o'clock, they're ready to go home for the weekend. They don't want to work the weekend. So that's the time that you find a lot of mistakes. We hold ourselves accountable. We make sure that when we go out there every single day, that we're doing exactly what we said that we were going to do. If there is a mistake, if something does happen, because it does happen sometimes, we want to hold ourselves accountable to make sure that we bring everybody whole again and we make everybody satisfied from what we originally told them to what's actually happening within the project at that time. Now, like I said in the first slide, it's the Wild Wild West. But even though Georgia is the Wild Wild West when it comes to construction, there are certain Georgia codes that we have to abide by as contractors, and you also have to abide by as a property owner, whether it be your residential or it be your commercial property. So what these Georgia codes are, I'm a little penguin guy, but with your like low slope roofing, so your low slope, so you have a pitch of your roof, right? A lot of the schools are not very steep. They're more of like a 4 to 512 steepness. If there's anything of a 312 and lower, we are required to install what's called an ice and water membrane onto the decking of the roof to help prevent any standing water from actually seeping through and then getting into the school. So whenever we work with insurance companies, we have to know these codes, and we have to make sure that whenever we send in our certification of completion to the insurance company, that we put every single one of these codes along with documented pictures of everything that we did, showing proof that we installed it, so that way they'll actually pay for those things. One thing that I will suggest when it comes to being a property owner, whether it's your personal home or your commercial property, get in touch with your insurance agent. Just ask simple questions as, do you have code, the building code upgrade on your policy? Most people don't know if they do or not. And so what that means is, especially with schools and the roof size that you guys have, you could be looking at a cost of close to $3,000 out of pocket that you would have to pay for just the code upgrades that are required by the state that we have to install whenever we do replace a roof. If you have that code enforcement into your policy, then you don't have to worry about it because the insurance company will actually cover that cost. But if you don't have that, and then you go through the claim process of working with your insurance company, and nobody likes to get, sight unseen or unforeseen expenses, and then all of a sudden you get hit with a bill for $3,000, and you're like, where am I going to get this money? It's not in the budget. What's going on here? It's just a simple little phone call to your agent and just say, hey, I just want to verify what my coverage is in my policy. Do I have building code upgrades? what type of policy do I have? Do I have a RCV policy or do I have an ACV policy? That is very, very important, and that can save you tens of thousands of dollars if you ever have to use your insurance when it comes to replacing a roof. So your ACV, that stands for actual cost value. What that's going to be is if that's the policy that you have, let's say that your roof is 20 years old, they're going to only pay what that roof is worth at that time. It's kind of like when you buy a car and then what is it? The blue.
Kelley Blue Book.
There it is, Kelley Blue Book. So Kelley Blue Book is only going to price your vehicle at, $5,000, although you paid $30,000 for it. So with an ACV policy, they're only going to pay $5,000, and then you have to come up with that additional 25 grand, right? These are hypothetical numbers, so don't hold it to me, right? But if you have an RCV policy, which is a recoverable cost value, then that means that the insurance company is going to pay what it costs to actually replace your roof in today's market. So they'll pay you one check up front for the ACV amount. And then once the work is completed, we turn in all that information to them with the documentation, the codes, all of that. And then they pay that remaining balance of the RCV amount. Know it's a lot of abbreviations. Probably have to go back to this, listen to it a couple of times, but it's best for you to know these things if you're ever going to have to file a claim with your insurance on a building, because it can be a very expensive surprise if your agent was just trying to get you the cheapest policy premiums to pay. And then when you actually have to use it and find out that you've got to pay all this money out of pocket because your agent was just trying to save you, a couple $100 a year, right? So let's always just look at your policy, verify that stuff, and know that you're going to be in good hands whenever it is time to file your actual claim. So all of our inspectors, we are certified through the NCI, the National Claims Institute. Why would you want to be certified through the National Claims Institute? Is because whenever you are inspecting a roofing system, you want to verify that that roofing system is up to the standards of what the building code and the manufacturer is required it to be. So with this, it teaches us how to properly document for damage. It teaches us how to properly document the roofing system in general. And it helps us put together our packages for when, if we need to present it to you as a business owner or a homeowner, and help you understand exactly what is going on with your roofing system. Because let's be honest, most people don't even know what color their roof is because they never even look up when they pull into the driveway, right? So if you start talking about different scenarios on the roof, more than likely they're not really going to know what you're talking about. So we want to be able to lay everything out in a detailed format so that even the person that's never even seen a shingle in their life can understand exactly what the shingle is, exactly the function of that shingle, and how just a little bit of damage can affect the roofing system as a whole. So we have a CRM in our business, and you've heard me say, documentation. Documentation is extremely important. We treat every inspection as if we're going to go into litigation. Like, we're attorneys and we got to have all of our documentation with us, because if we want to present it to you guys and say, hey, by the way, you've got, all this hail damage on your roof, you've got all this wind damage on your roof, or if you've got failed pipe boots, if your ridge vent isn't fastened down correctly, if you don't have drip edge, like whatever it is, we document everything that we come across on that roof. We upload the photos, we upload the measurements of your roof, we upload, all of the communications are directly uploaded underneath your profile with all our documents, and it gives us a timeline on, when was the last time we spoke to you, when's the next time we need to speak to you, who do we need to follow up with, and we keep this all in line to make sure that we're giving you that championship experience whenever it comes to making sure that your school is going to be safe for all the kids that these families are trusting whenever they drop them off in your building. So here's just a few examples of some schools that we've done over the couple of years. We've done a lot more than this. It's just I didn't want to put too many slides together, so I just kind of want to give you a gist of it. We've done the Atlanta International School down in Buckhead. We actually replaced about 9 of their roofs total. Those are some big jobs. We've done jobs down in Griffin. We've done several jobs for Kids Are Kids, Primrose, Discovery Point, Goddard School. I mean, we've got experience of working with all the different schools. I know there's going to be questions pertaining to the cleanliness and so forth. We'll get into that in a minute. But as you could tell, some of these are some finished products. We've only got one at the bottom corner where I think it was before we started the job, but we leave everything better than it was before we got there. So peace of mind on that. And as you can tell, these are not small jobs. These are pretty big jobs. I think the next slide I'm going to give you, I've got my next 2 slides. Then that's going to be it as far as the slides go, but they're going to be 2 videos. And this is kind of what I like to do for the business owners, is to give them a little movie of the project that they had so they can actually see the entire process. So I'll kind of show those to you right now. And then so if you have any questions after this, please let me know. Show it. Ooh, I'm gonna have to email them out.
No.
It's okay.
All right, we will add that. We will add it to the page. No worries.
Yeah, let's see if it'd do it that way. No, I just email them over to you.
Thank you.
Yep, not a problem. Let's see. There we go. All right. What type
So
of
Eddie, I have a question, a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yep.
I noticed, you were talking about the whole roof projects that you were doing and how massive those can be. How do your project completions impact the operations of the school, understanding that parents don't really care about, they care about a roof, but they need childcare? How do what you do support the operations in the school as well?
So our number 1 priority is the safety of the kids. And the last thing we want to do is create a safety hazard for anybody, especially little ones, when their curiosity is going to get the best of them and then they want to get involved and probably help and climb up there, and do what they can. Right. So we don't ever work on any schools during the week. We only work on schools on Saturday and Sundays. So with that does kind of put a damper in the scheduling of it. But we have to do what we feel is best for the safety of not only the kids, but also the safety of the staff that come there to work, and make sure that there's nobody going to be wandering around, especially with nails flying all over the place and debris falling off of the roof, and anybody can just walk out. So we normally have all the material delivered that Saturday morning. Once again, it's a lot of material. So we understand that on Fridays, like I mentioned before, people are ready to get their kids. They're ready to get home. They don't want to deal with no more problems. They're just ready for the weekend to decompress. And so we don't want to have all this material in the parking lot to affect any of the driving for the parents to come in and get their kids. And we know how chaotic it can be, and we just don't want to do that. So we eliminate that altogether. So we would actually show up on a Saturday morning, usually around 6:30, 7:30 in the morning, and the material will get delivered around that time or maybe a little bit after. And then we go around and we protect all the landscaping with tarps. We clean everything up, and then we get up there and we start working. Majority of the time we can get the job done in one day, depending on whether it's during the summertime or if it's in the fall, because if you got a lot less daylight, it kind of messes up a few hours. So we may have to go over into the next day, which is nice, because now you have Saturday and Sunday. Once we are completely done, we do a lot of cleaning throughout the process. It's always going to look like a war zone. You're never going to see a roofing project where it's going to be clean and spotless. Right. never going to look like that. It's going to look like a complete war zone. But when we are done, we've got magnets that go around the parking lot. We've got magnets that go around the perimeter of the school. We got magnets that go outside the perimeter of the school, especially in the playground areas, underneath the downspouts of the gutters and so forth. And then we also let the owners know that although we did a very, very, very thorough cleaning of the property itself, that the very first rain that you get, more than likely, you're going to have some nails that are going to come down that downspout because they're going to get lodged in there. And there's only so much we can do to get them out, but that rain will wash them out. So we ask that once that rain happens to kind of just walk the perimeter and just pick up whatever little debris or nails that may come out of the downspout.
Okay, well, you answered another question I was going to ask about how do you keep it safe for children, knowing that nails are part of the roofing job, and I'm sure it's hard to watch where every single one of those goes. So thank you. Can
Try
you?
our best to get them up. Yep.
Thank you, thank you. What about if I'm an owner and I have a roof job, what is the difference in whether my insurance will cover the payment or if it's a private pay type of repair or replacement?
So when you're working with the insurance companies, the insurance company is only going to pay for damage that occurred during a storm. So if your roof is old and you didn't have any hail hit that property, you didn't have any strong winds that did damage to that property, more than likely the insurance company is going to pay for anything. But if you have an older roof, majority of the time there's going to be some sort of storm damage on there, and that's where it comes into play to where if you want to go the insurance route, that you work with a contractor that knows exactly what to do through the process of the documentation and the due diligence and understanding what's going to happen when the adjuster comes out, understanding what's going to happen if they try to deny things, and then you know how to battle back and so forth. So there's a lot more that goes into it from a contractor standpoint when the insurance company is involved, because the misconception is, well, if the insurance company is willing to pay, like I said, I'm gonna throw hypothetical numbers out there again, 20 grand to do the roof, right? And then you have a contractor come in and says, well, I can do the roof for $10,000. Well, the insurance company is only going to pay that $10,000. They're not going to pay no more than is needed. And so if you have a contractor that says they can do it for 10 and the insurance is doing it for 20, you definitely need to check your background on that contractor, because you want to make sure that you're getting everything that you're paying for as far as your policy goes. You're supposed to be made whole again from a pre-loss condition from any storm. Now,
Right.
when it comes to as far as payment, your original question as far as like payment from the insurance and then the private, the insurance company can take as much as 3 to 4 months for us to even get paid to do a project for anybody. And it's because they drag things out. They're not in a real hurry to get things done. And there's things that we have to do on our end to be able to make sure that they have all the information that they need to be able to release those payments. And so insurance work can be a little bit more expensive just because we're pretty much acting as the bank until, you know, we get paid back in full. With private pay, it's just a straight transaction, right? From the owner to the contractor. So we normally take a deposit. We normally ask for 50% just because it is such a large project. But I'm the type of guy, I don't like handing over big chunks of change to somebody that I really don't know. And you can give me $200 as a deposit and it can be a $50,000 job. And I'm okay with that, because that tells me as the contractor that you are willing to give something to be able to get that project going. But on the private pay side, the balance is due right the day after the build is completed. So there's not a long drawn out process in which we got to sit here and wait for money to come in. It's just pay the deposit. We get you scheduled. Once we get you scheduled, you're satisfied with the quality checkup that I'm going to walk with you personally. And then at that point, then you just pay off the balance, and then you'll receive all your warranty information from the manufacturer. You'll get our 10-year workmanship warranty certificate as well. And then you pretty much have us for life.
Awesome. Awesome. What areas in Georgia do you serve?
All of Georgia. actually.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay,
Now, there are some down in like South Georgia, like close to Florida. A lot of times we can't get all the way down there, but we're all the way down there in Columbus, Macon, up in Rome. Uh, do go over a little over the Tennessee state line sometimes.
okay.
Going to Alabama a little bit, but we definitely want to keep things as close niched as possible because we don't want to spread ourselves out too thin to where it now becomes a quality issue on being able to get to people. And now you're messing with their schedules and messing with their time to where if we get hung up at a job over here, then it's going to take us 2 hours to get over here. Now your schedule is going to be messed up and we don't want to really do that. So we try to
Absolutely.
stay within a few hours if we can.
Okay, that's
Mhm.
fair. So how do we get you to come out and check out the roof or schedule repairs, schedule inspections and repairs? How do we get in touch with you?
You can email us at info@theroofchamp.com or
Okay,
my personal cell phone number, and I'm give this out to all the GCCA members, is 678-849-6626. It's my personal number. I have that phone on me all the time. If for whatever reason you call me or text me and I don't respond back immediately, more than likely I'm with another client or I'm on a phone call, but I will respond back as soon as possible. People tell me I probably communicate too much, but I just want you to understand that I'm available if you have any questions and whatever you need from me. I'm gonna make sure that I can either do it myself or get somebody else to take care of it for you.
awesome. Thank you. Nikki, do you have a question for us?
Yes.
Thank you for being
Hello.
here.
So sorry I jumped in late and I've been running around. It's a school day. You guys get it.
Yes, absolutely.
So I had a couple questions that I wrote down as the information. You had some really good information for the little that I heard. Thank you so much for having a meeting with us because it's some questions that I've been having for a while. So how would we know if we're not up to code? So I see the codes, the low slope, the valley metal drip edge. How would we know to go and check for those things to make sure we're up to date? Is it like a annual thing we should always do? Is it every 3 years?
You should have your roof inspected at least once a year, and mainly, especially during like the hurricane seasons, the spring storm seasons, things like that. When you have like real strong rains, real strong winds, if you notice that hail may be in the area, it doesn't cost you anything to just say, hey, I feel like something's going on. Would you mind coming out and checking out the roof? And then we go up there and take a look at it. Now, as far as your codes and all that goes, any roof that was built after 2013 should have all the code items installed. Does that mean that they are? No, but they should. If your roof is older than 2013, more than likely it doesn't have the drip edge, it doesn't have the ice and water, and that's okay. But once you replace that roof, those items have to be installed according to code.
Okay. Does these codes and policies cover skylights? Because we have huge skylights in our building, and I know when we got some upgrades done and we did some remodeling, one of our skylights started to drip, and instead of fixing it, we sealed the glass.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to do something to that very soon. So I was wondering if it's something that we could go into our policy to see if our insurance will cover, or would we have to go to a roofing company, or would we have to go to a whole separate company that works with glass to handle that type of issue?
So the only way an insurance company is going to cover the cost of a skylight is if it's damaged from the storm.
Right.
So if you had like a tree branch or something fall and hit that glass and cause that glass to crack, or if you had a rock or something fall and hit that glass, that's when they'll cover to replace it. Now, I believe the code now is the curb on the skylight has to be 4 inches.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it is. So if, let's say you have damage on your roof, right? So when it comes to insurance companies, they want to tie everything into a storm. So if they come out and they inspect your roof and they say, all right, well, you have storm damage on your shingles, And then we also noticed that the skylight's damaged as well, or the curb on that skylight's not 4 inches, so it's not up to code. At that point, then they could pay to replace that. But that's something that you will actually have to talk to your insurance agent about. And because as a contractor, I legally cannot give insurance advice, like based on policies and things like that. The only thing that I can do is just explain the building codes, because trust me, insurance companies don't like to pay for things that they don't think they don't have to. So it's my responsibility to make sure that they're paying for everything that they are required to pay for.
Okay, and one more question. So you were talking about the RCV policies and the ACV policies. If we are in an ACV policy, do we just cancel our insurance and go back into a new policy, or are we able to upgrade our policies to make sure we got the full recovery cost value?
From my experience, the only thing you have to do is just contact your direct agent. And once you find out that you have an ACV policy, say, hey, first of all, I want to know why you gave me that, because that's a no-no. And second of all, I need to make this an RCV. And then they shouldn't have any trouble doing that at all. I've even had them where the resident filed a claim on their personal home, didn't know they had an ACV policy. So this is where I'm saying where it can become a sticker shock at that point. And it was a very big house, a very old house, so it was depreciated a lot. And it was an older couple. They found out they had an ACV policy. And once they found that out, they contacted their direct agent. I don't know what the guy did. Don't know how he did it. It's above my pay grade, but he somehow switched their ACV policy to an RCV policy and ended up getting the whole thing covered by the insurance company. So I can't do that. But I tell everybody, you're the policy holder. You're the one that holds the hammer. See my Thor's hammer back here? You hold that power. And if you raise enough cane, at your direct agent, you can get them to do what they're supposed to do anyway. But if you don't, they'll just sit back and they'll be that shield and brush it off the shoulder and let you keep doing whatever you're doing. But like I said, you definitely want to start paying attention as a business owner. And because like I said, most people don't know what they have in their policy. It'd be good to just get that cover page and look at it, and you'll see what your deductibles are. You'll see what your inclusions are, and you'll know exactly what's being covered, because some insurance carriers, and they change up all the time. So that's why I say you got to pay attention, is they'll have some disclaimers in there stating that, okay, you've got $1,000 deductible on your property, but if hail or wind damages the roof, your deductible is not $1,000 for that. Your deductible is $5,000 for that. And if you don't know that, then you think you're just going to have $1,000 deductible, and then you get hit with another $4,000, you're not going to be too happy about it. So you just kind of want to dig in and find out exactly what you have. So whenever the time comes, you're already prepared for it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, Nikki?
I know we need to make some phone calls because our building is over 30 years old.
Mhm.
So we
Okay.
have to go and check in on some codes. So I wrote down all the codes and wrote down the difference between the RCV and the ACV. So I'm going to be calling Shannon and getting some things done.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, Nikki, like I said, we can come out and take a look at everything for you and kind of
Okay.
let you know where you stand. I know Mary has sent out a flyer that we started whenever we started working with you guys. And for all GCCA members, we have a maintenance plan. It's $500 a year. Very, very reasonable. And we come out, we do one free roof analysis, kind of give you a report based on what the condition of your roof is in. So that way, if anything happens, like where you're at. And then we also offer, 10% off of full roof replacements. So that's pretty huge. I don't do that a lot. Trust me. That's a lot of money, but that also helps cover, like little minor repairs, things like that. And if you think about it, our minimum charge, if we come out to do a repair, is $350, right? So $500 a year. And then if you have any minor repairs and we do the inspection, like you've already got your money's worth right there. So I look at that as just a a positive thing to kind of help you guys out. And trust me, if I have somebody that's on a maintenance plan, they're going to get more priority over somebody that's not on a maintenance plan, just because you've invested in yourself to make sure that we're going to be there for you. And so we're going to make sure that we take good care of you because you're a part of that maintenance plan.
Thank you.
Thank you. And just so I know, the email is info@theroofchampion.org.
Champ.com.
Oh, the Roof Champ.
Mhm.
And the phone number is 678-849-6626.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just making sure I got it correct.
Thank you.